I hear it all the time right now. I'm just going to wait until 2026. Rates will drop. Houses will be cheaper. And that's when I'll finally buy. I totally get why that sounds logical. But I'm here to tell you why it might be completely wrong. In this video, I'm going to walk you through why buying a home in 2026 might not be any cheaper than buying sooner, even if mortgage rates come down. We're going to look at what's really driving the housing market interest rates, competition and supply, and why waiting could actually put you in a much tougher position. Just a quick heads up before we start. This is general information and my personal opinion, not personal financial advice. You should always run your numbers with a professional who understands your specific situation. And hey, if you find this video useful, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more content just like this. Alright, let's dive in. Over the last few years, the housing market has been an absolute roller coaster. Mortgage rates shot up from the comfy 3% range to levels we haven't seen in over 2 decades. But at the same time, home prices didn't crash like everyone expected. Instead, they stayed stubbornly high in most areas because there just weren't enough homes for sale. That combination created sky-high monthly payments and a whole lot of frustration for potential buyers. So let's fast forward to what people are hoping for in 2026. Most major forecasts do suggest that mortgage rates might ease up a bit by then. That sounds like great news, right? But here's the catch. Lower doesn't necessarily mean cheap. We are not talking about a glorious return to 3 or 4% rates. We're talking more about moving from very high to moderately high. Think of it as less painful rather than an amazing opportunity. At the same time, home prices are still expected to rise, just at a slower pace. Most projections from housing experts point to modest growth continuing through 2025 and into 2026. We're not talking about massive jumps, but we're definitely not talking about a meaningful nationwide price drop either. So the idea that homes will suddenly be significantly cheaper in 2026 isn't really supported by most serious outlooks. Now, here's the part where a lot of people underestimate the impact: competition. When rates are high, a lot of buyers hit the pause button. They stay on the sidelines, just waiting for a better moment to jump in. This creates a huge pool of people ready to flood the market as soon as rates soften even a little. When borrowing becomes slightly more affordable, those buyers don't return one by one. They return all at once. What does that mean for you? It means more people touring the same homes, more offers on every single listing, and way more bidding wars. Especially for those entry-level and mid-range properties that most people are looking for. So even if your interest rate is a bit lower in 2026, you might be facing way heavier competition and even stronger upward pressure on home prices. And then there's the supply problem. The US has been underbuilding homes for years, and estimates suggest we are short by several million units nationwide. Inventory levels are still well below what's considered healthy for a balanced market. New construction just isn't happening fast enough to close that gap anytime soon, and forecasts don't show a dramatic surge in building over the next couple of years. So let's put all of this together. You've got a housing shortage that's going to take years to fix, inventory that's still super tight, and builders who aren't producing fast enough. Then, in 2026, you add lower rates that bring a flood of new buyers back into the market. That combination doesn't usually lead to cheaper homes. It usually leads to chaos and more competition. Let me give you a simple example. Imagine a $400,000 home today at a 7% interest rate. Now, imagine you wait until 2026. Rates drop to 6%, but that same home has now increased in price to $420,000 because of all that ongoing demand. Your monthly payment might be slightly lower, but you're now borrowing more money, competing with more buyers, and you just spent 2 extra years paying rent instead of building your own equity. The difference in your monthly cost might not be dramatic enough to justify waiting, especially if prices keep creeping up. This doesn't mean everyone should rush out and buy a home right now. What it means is that the idea of waiting for some perfect, magical future market is probably unrealistic. There's no magic year where everything suddenly becomes affordable and competition disappears. Real estate decisions should always be based on your personal finances, your job stability, your lifestyle, and your long-term plans, not just on headlines and hopeful predictions. If you can comfortably afford a home today and you plan to stay there for the long term, buying sooner gives you time in the market and the potential to refinance later if and when rates do fall. If you wait and prices rise while competition increases, You might find that the better market you were waiting for never actually feels any better. So the takeaway is simple. 2026 might bring slightly lower rates, but it's also likely to bring more buyers, more competition, and continued pressure on an already limited housing supply. That combination means homes may not feel significantly cheaper and could even feel much harder to secure. Instead of trying to time the market perfectly, the smarter move is to understand your budget, evaluate your local market, and make a decision based on what fits your life and your financial reality today. If you found this helpful, share it with that friend who keeps saying, "I'll just wait until 2026," and let me know down in the comments. Are you planning to buy soon, wait it out, or just observe from the sidelines? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.